Yo, okay, first video of 2025. Now, I just got home, but earlier today I saw, hold on, my ears. Oh man, the cold is cooking me right now. I live in New York, so it's cold as shit. But earlier today I saw Wolfman in IMAX. It was the first movie of 2025, and I'm gonna be doing a review for it. Now, and the thing is, I was gonna like walk around while making this video because I was thinking like, how can I make these more fun for me? Because before this, I was doing voice memos and I was just like moving around and just going wherever because you could only hear my voice and not actually see me. But now that you can actually see me, it's like I gotta like prop it up and try to get the lighting kind of nice. So it's like it's a whole thing. I digress. Anyways, Wolfman. Now, I did get to see this in IMAX. It wasn't that much of a packed crowd. It was like, for the most part, pretty calm. January usually always starts off very just chill, because it's January, so then not that many things are coming out, and that's why I was planning on making a video much earlier, but it's got to come to me naturally, But Wolfman, here's how, since considering that I saw this like a few hours ago, I wanted to let it marinate a bit. I've seen other reviews for this movie, and I can see some people had issues with it, and I can see why. This isn't a bad movie by any means. For like, a January horror movie, we're just starting things off in 2025. So it's going to be, it wasn't the strongest start, but it was good enough to get the ball rolling, to get the gears going. This was, for what it was, I enjoyed it. There are some things that I wish they would have changed. First things first, the characters. We have Blake, the dad. The mom, I forgot her name, but she's played by... Oh, man. Julia Garner. Julia Garner. Garner. Yeah, Julia Garner. And then the daughter. Forgot the daughter's name. I forgot the daughter's name. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's essentially based on, it's surrounded by, it's those three. Those are the main characters. The movie starts off with Blake as a kid with his dad, and they essentially, it was just, the only purpose that I found that backstory to be was to tie back to the end of the film. But Kid Blake and his dad encounter the wolf and Wolfman, and nothing happens, but they do encounter it. And then we cut to the future. Blake's an adult. He has a kid. The daughter is him and the daughter, they're much closer, and Blake, he feels obligated to be a good dad since his dad was a little bit rough on him. So he wants for his daughter to be more understanding and kind and less aggressive, because his dad was kind of like one of those military niggas, one of those hunter guys, since they lived out in rural Oregon or Central Oregon. I remember the text, it said Central Oregon, but they actually filmed it in New Zealand. There's a lot of movies being filmed in New Zealand. I guess it's just a very beautiful place. I gotta visit there one day. But we cut to the future, and Blake's dad dies. So him and the wife and the kid, they go off to, pack his shit. As for the mom, Julia Garner, she's great, but the character that she plays is a little bit bland, a little bit stale. Like, her whole thing is like, she's always busy, so she can't really spend as much time with the daughter. And she wants to get close with the daughter, like as close as the daughter is with the dad, with Blake. But like, she's kind of like, just like, doesn't really have a personality outside of that. You know, she's kind of just, I don't know, like she wasn't the character, not the actor or the performance. It was just the character just was just there and just kind of just existing. Like nothing the character does throughout the movie feels earned or deserved. She's just kind of there. And it's like, I don't know, I didn't really personally enjoy the character. Like she wasn't a bad character, but she was just very bland. Like she didn't have a personality. Like she was very just gray, just static, just existing, you know. And as for Blake has a big, you know, Blake has a personality, you know. I definitely enjoyed Blake more than the wife, because you know, we focus more time on Blake and his backstory and his, you know, because he eventually turns into the Wolfman. And as for the daughter, she was fine, you know, she was good with what she had. But yeah, the mother, she just wasn't giving anything. Like she didn't stand out. She didn't give final girl. She just gave average woman. That's what she gave me. As for Blake, he definitely, his turn into the Wolfman was very nice. Like like a lot of people were dogging on the design, saying, "Oh, the design is not very good." But me personally, like seeing that transformation from like man, and they treat it like a disease, like not like him transforming into a Wolfman. It's more of like a disease. So seeing that evolution, and because we get to see Blake's POV of what he's experiencing as he's transforming, and it's just that gradual build to where he eventually just fully turns. I think that was very good. And overall, the design, I don't mind the design. I think it's actually pretty good once you see the transformation and how it gets to that point. You know, I think it's decent, it's solid. Now there is another Wolfman, and the Wolfman, it's implied that it's his dad. And so his dad is the one that attacks him after they crash the truck on their way there. There's another guy there too, and he just gets killed off. And then Blake, he eventually turns, but he like goes in and out of like turning, you know what I mean? Like the way I saw it, I thought, oh man, it's just gonna be Blake the whole time. But the other werewolf, for a majority of the movie, they're dealing with the other werewolf, and it's just Blake trying not to lose himself in the process. So a majority of the movie is spent just in the house, just kind of watching him turn. And it's like, it was a little boring, a little anticlimactic. But then when things start happening, it's like, I don't know, man. It just, I wasn't really vibing with it. It's like the intense moments, they were good, but it's like, it could have been better. I feel like there definitely needed to be more action in this movie, and there was just not enough of that. But once that final showdown happens, like Blake's werewolf versus his dad, like that fight, that was great. But then after that, once Blake eventually kills the other werewolf, who's apparently his dad, then he fully transforms, and then he goes after the daughter and the mother. But even though he's fully transformed, he still has some consciousness left. Like he's still him a little bit. So eventually at the end of the movie, they go tie back into the beginning of the movie, where the same era where Blake as a kid and his dad encountered the werewolf, the daughter and the mother end up in that same place, and they kill Blake, while he's still, somewhat sane before he attacks again. and then it just ends with, you know, the mother shooting Blake and them leaving. Yeah, man, it's like, you know, I feel like I need to watch this again, but I don't really want to. Like, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't bad. It's just, there should have been more action, and I don't know, it just felt a little dull. Like, when things were happening, it was fun in the moment, but it felt like, I don't know, man, it just, you know? And most people say that it's the pacing. I don't know, the pacing for this movie was, it was something. I was about to say it's fine, but the pacing, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little weird, because certain things happen. I don't know, it's just like, I don't know, I think the setting wasn't great. The setting of the movie wasn't too great, because there's not a lot to do. There's nowhere really to go, and it's just kind of like a very isolated area, which would be fine, I guess, but it's like, there's just not a lot going on. And it's like nothing, I felt bad for Blake when he did die, but it's like, bruh, like, I don't even know. I'm sorry if this review is bad. It's just, it's hard to explain how I'm feeling. It's just, this movie was just, like, the sound design, the sounds were great, and the visual effects were great, like the gore and the blood and him transforming, and visually the movie was stunning. It was beautiful. Like, certain shots of Blake, like, in the distance, like, he's still a dude, he's still a man, he hasn't fully transformed yet, but you can see it, and it's very unsettling. So I would say the acting and the visuals were the best part of the movie, and the sound design was the best part of the movie. But the story, besides the fact that, you know, Blake, you know, I like Blake's story, Blake's arc, you know, he wants to protect his daughter, his family, be a good dad. I like that. And the mother wants to, you know, be a better mother, even though she's a bland person. I enjoyed that too. But everything else, like the Wolfman aspect, besides the fact that it looks cool and like the disease and all that shit, when it comes to the horror and the action, it just wasn't there for me. And the story, I don't know, it was a little dull. Like, when you look at the director, Lee Winnell, when you look at his first film, like Upgrade, that was fire. You know, there was just enough action. It was an action movie. There was just enough action, just enough story. It was good. This is like, it takes a minute to get there, and then when it gets there, it feels like just, and then that's it. It feels very anticlimactic, as I said. Would I watch it again? If I'm being real with you, probably not. Would I suggest people go see it for themselves? Of course. Everybody has their own opinion. Some people might come out of this movie absolutely loving it. But so far, the reviews for this movie have not been great. And, you know, going into this movie, I didn't care about the reviews. You know, I was like, I don't give a shit what these critics have to say. You know, I'm going to go in and, you know, if I like it, I like it. And I'm going to stand on that. And I just think it was fine. You know, I think it was a decent movie. Like, would I see it again in theaters? No. But when it comes out on streaming, yeah, sure. As for, like, the start of 2025 in terms of horror, not the greatest start, but not a completely dog shit start either. Like, this movie isn't dog shit. The highs of this movie are very high, you know? It's just the story could have been a little better. They could have tweaked some things, had a little more creativity when it came to the action sequences, or like the, you know, the suspenseful chase sequences. And yeah, were there a lot of jump scares? Not really. There was like only a handful of jump scares, so you don't have to worry about jump scares all that much. But overall, this was decent. You know, if I had to give it a rating, I would give it like a 6.5, 7. It wasn't terrible. It was not terrible, but it wasn't the greatest piece of cinema. But yeah, man, that was my review for Wolfman, first video 2025. Like I said, this is just, we're just getting into it. I'm gonna be posting so much more consistently, I promise, because there's so many movies coming out, you know, Until Dawn, you know, Hard Eyes, Companion. I'm gonna be making a review for that at the end of the month. And there's another secret Scream Unseen movie that I'm gonna be seeing. Hopefully, I'm praying that it's Hard Eyes, because I'm seeing Companion on the 30th. So hopefully, and that's before the 30th, so hopefully it's the secret horror movie is Hard Eyes, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But yeah, we're just getting into it. I'm going to be making so many movie reviews, and I'm going to try to figure out a way to make this more, like, authentic to me. Authentic to me. Find a way to just, like, because me, like, with the voice moments, it's like I like to move around. I like to just, you know, yap. For this, it feels like I'm very constrained to just sitting down and looking at the camera. So it's like I can't really, you know, move how I'm trying to move. But, you know, it's all right. I'll figure out a way to make this more good for me. Because if it's more comfortable for me, then it's going to be, you know, better content for you guys. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But first video, 2025. Nothing too crazy. Next video, I'm not sure what the topic's gonna be, but hopefully I get some ideas, you know, because these next two movies for January, they're at the end of the month. One's on the 27th, the other one's on the 30th. So, you know, hopefully I can come up with some ideas before that, because I don't want this to just be movie reviews. Even though a majority of the videos this year are going to be movie reviews, I want to do everything, like vlogs, reactions. I just got to, you know, upgrade my equipment because I'm just kind of doing this on my phone right now. But, you know, word. But yeah, man, that's it. I am the hero, light legend of this world, Tyree Figueroa, signing out. Peace.